feeling like Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Hey guys, Akimbo Chris with Crusader Armory TV. Back out here on the range again today, guys, and today we're bringing you another suppressor video. However, this one's a little bit different. Today, guys, we have the WhisperStrike Slim 9 dedicated pistol suppressor. This is a pistol suppressor from WhisperStrike, and it comes out of the box ready to rock on your handgun. What does that mean? How does this differ from any other 9mm suppressor on the market? Well, this one is going to come with a Nielsen device or a booster right out the box. So as soon as you pull it out the box, you should be able to go ahead and install this on your handgun with a threaded barrel, and you shouldn't have any issues. A lot of your standard just 9mm suppressors that would go on something like your carbine don't come with a booster, and you usually have to buy that separately, and handguns require boosters. They are a little bit different because, as you guys know, with the design, the barrel moves a lot more, so whenever you lock down a suppressor without a booster, it doesn't allow the suppressor to move with the barrel, and it will cause it to not be able to cycle. But this one comes with it right out of the box. Not only does it come with the booster, but WhisperStrike also designed this thing to be slim enough where you can still use your iron sights on your handgun. So for example, we have the Bear Creek Grizzly here, and this does not have suppressor-height iron sights. I do have a red dot in this thing. However, I did test it without the red dot, and you can still use even these iron sights with this suppressor because of how slim this can is down here. You don't necessarily need suppressor-height iron sights. You're not gonna have to spend that extra $100 to get those to use your iron sights with your suppressor. This thing is designed to work right out the box. Another cool design feature about the suppressor, really designing it around handgun use, is that it is modular, so you can adjust the length of this suppressor. So you know, depending if you want, you know, maximum sound reduction, you can go with the longer design, or if you don't, you can unscrew this end piece here and you can just rock a shorter suppressor for a more compact design. So this thing is literally built out of the box for your handgun, ready to go. But if you do want to run this on something like your 9mm carbine, you're not SOL, because you can buy the direct thread adapter from WhisperStrike. So you can replace this booster down here with the direct thread adapter, and then you can rock it on your PCC as well, which I think is absolutely amazing. That makes this suppressor super versatile for 9mm guns. Now, just like other WhisperStrike suppressors, this thing is going to be titanium, so your core on the inside of the suppressor, your baffles, are going to be made out of titanium. So you're going to get a super lightweight design, but also super durable. Now, the only difference between this and some of WhisperStrike's other suppressors is the outside tube is aluminum. However, it should hold up well enough for a handgun suppressor or a PCC. Now, they do have a dedicated 9mm suppressor as well called the Carbine 9, and that one is kind of more designed for use on a PCC. However, this shouldn't have any problems holding up either. I'm super excited to shoot this thing. WhisperStrike did send this out to the channel just to be transparent with you guys, but I really like working with those folks over there. Not only because they make really good products, but because they're really good people. As you guys know, at Crusader Armory TV, we really value our relationship with God, and the people over at WhisperStrike are really good folks, and they are Christian folks as well. So we really like to work with companies who have similar values to us, and you know, they just make really good products. So with that being said, I do just want to be transparent on that, but we're going to test this thing, guys, and we're going to give you our honest opinion. We don't have any contract with WhisperStrike saying we have to review it positively or anything like that, so we're going to give you guys the nitty-gritty on this WhisperStrike Slim 9 suppressor. So today, guys, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be shooting this thing. We will run it on the Bear Creek Grizzly today because this is one of the guns I have a threaded barrel for, and we're also going to test it on my B&T GHM9 to act as the PCC for the video, to really test overall sound suppression, how it holds up, you know, things like that. So with that being said, guys, we're just going to jump straight into it and put some rounds down this thing. So let's get into it. All right, guys, real quick, I do want to go ahead and just zero it real quick because I did just throw this red dot back on this gun. I had it on a different handgun that we were testing. So if anybody's interested, this is the Aimwin PE320. It's like a aim point style red dot. I really like this thing. This is a competition shooter's dream. And then we do have the Olight PLX on there. So if you're interested in anything that I'm rocking on this gun, please check the pinned comment below. We need to make sure she's zeroed, and I think this is a good chance to go ahead and see how loud the gun is with the decibel meter, with the suppressor off, and then also seeing how the point of impact shifts whenever we put the suppressor on. So really just testing the sound reduction and testing like how much it's going to actually affect my zero, because usually titanium suppressors on rifles don't affect zero much. That's one of the benefits to them. They really maintain that precision. But with handguns, since you do have a lot more barrel that's moving and the barrel shorter, I'm sure it will affect it you know, a lot more substantially. But I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Average was 97.1 and the highest was 1.12 or 112.
Okay, 112. Now this is on a phone, so I don't know how accurate it is, but we can compare the numbers with the suppressor on. But as far as the group, I think she's pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So seems like majority of my group was just a little bit low. I'm gonna bring her up just a little bit, and I think she's pretty much dialed in. Shout out to Vector Optics for this tool.
It comes in handy.
Let's go ahead and throw her on there and see what the sound difference sounds like. Lots of bugs out here today. It's hot, guys. It's hot. It's definitely not the day you would want to be doing a suppressor video, because the gun's already hot just laying in the sun. Then you add putting rounds to it, and then you add a hot can on it. I did raise the zero about 4 clicks from that last shot, which is kind of stupid to me considering we're kind of trying to see if it would deviate zero. But
the POI shift.
Yeah. We'll test it one more time after this with the can off, just to see where she's at, to make it more scientific. Sometimes I don't think everything through. Jesus, dude, I feel like that makes me shoot better. The suppressor makes me shoot better. Like, that is a good group for...
That's a really good group.
I mean, dude, I basically stacked a whole bunch of them on top of each other. What I'll say with the other WhisperStrike cans that we tested on the channel is that, you know, we did see improvements in accuracy on every gun and every suppressor we've tested. So one of the things about a WhisperStrike can is that they do have this symmetrical baffle design, which from what they say is supposed to really help improve accuracy, because you also get another muzzle crown basically from the end of your barrel, and you get that asymmetrical design. So these suppressors are really meant for, you know, improving accuracy and maintaining accuracy, and that's why they call themselves WhisperStrike Precision Silence. And everything we've tested, and cameraman, you can you know, call me out if I'm lying, we've seen better groups with the suppressor on than off.
I agree, yeah. Average was 91.5 and the max was 104.
Okay, so the last one was what, 120 or 112?
112.
112. Okay, so 115, you're looking at what, like 10 decibels?
Yeah.
But the average was what?
Max was 104 and the average was 91.7 and the last one was 97.5.
Okay, so it definitely, you know, took down some of that sound a little bit, but we're still using supersonic ammo. And just so we can compare it apples to apples, I will take this off again and we'll do one more string of fire with it off, and we'll see if the group spreads out, and we'll also see how the zero shifts. All right, let's see how she does. Bear Creek. Oh, that last one. Definitely a better group with the suppressor on. That last one, I definitely pulled it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's number 5. I pulled that one, but it does definitely. I was aiming here, so it does seem like the zero shifted a little bit, but that's to be expected with a handgun suppressor, especially because when you're putting that much length on your barrel and that thing's moving, it's going to move a lot more. But I mean, I shot way better with that suppressor on than with it off. And I think that's, we don't even need to measure these groups. You guys can use your eyes. So, whew, I'm excited to shoot this thing today. I'm really excited. I didn't expect that. I did not expect it to improve our accuracy that much. So now let's try some 147 grain. What was the decibel reader on that last one?
It was Average was 96.7 and the max was 110.8.
Okay, so you're definitely seeing a little bit of reduction. And again, guys, this is a phone, so there's no telling on
how accurate it is.
Yeah, how accurate it is or anything like that, you know, but it is showing you that there is, you know, some sound reduction. But let's put some 147 grains in there, because I think that's where we're gonna really see the sound reduction when we put that suppressor on. Bear Creek, extended slide lock. All right, what was the decibel?
Average was 91.6 and the max was 111.5.
Okay, so average was a little bit lower though than the 115 grain, a little bit quieter. And that's to be expected, heavier grain, less crack, that makes sense. Okay, with my terrible shooting here, again, haven't shot the Grizzly since we did the review on this thing, still getting used to it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I was shooting better with this thing last time we had it out here. But I hate when I'm not performing on camera, because I know these guys in the comments are gonna go crazy. All the internet marksmen out there who claim they can shoot a dime from 100 yards with a iron sights.
I can have a 22 iron shot and shoot 100 yards.
Yep, all those guys are gonna come out for sure. But it's all good, realistic testing. I'm not good every single day I come out here. I've got my rusty days as well. It's hot. There's bugs flying all around me, landing on me and shit. And that's just part of living in the Carolinas. Now we're gonna put the suppressor on, see if this group tightens up, and we're also gonna see how well it reduces sound, which I think we'll see a much bigger difference than we did with the 115. So I got the Slim 9 back on here, the 147 grain. Let's see how she does.
The max was 107.4 and the average was 93.5.
That decibel reader probably isn't very accurate, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I think me and you both know it's definitely a lot quieter. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I did throw 2, but we did have the 3 up here.
Still looks like a better group overall than...
Yeah, it still looks like I shot a little bit better, but you know, maybe we need to put some more mags to her just to reaffirm for the viewers out there. That looks super tight, dude. That is quiet.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that's pretty quiet, dude.
Even in like, I still have ear pro on and it's quiet to me.
I mean, I have no ear pro on. It sounds like a stapler gun.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a stapler gun. And again, shot better group with it for sure. And obviously, guys, I'm not sitting here trying to be a marksman and take my time and feel out the. I'm just throwing shots at the target. But you can see here, got 2 there, right there, 2 there, a few here, 1 there. I mean, it's shooting pretty good. That's cool, dude. That is really cool. Like,
it looks like it really helps a lot.
You want to shoot it?
I do.
Okay, cool.
I want to
shoot the stapler gun.
Live out my James Bond and Hitman fantasies.
Yeah, facts, guys. If you want to be Snake from Metal Gear Solid, you need you a pistol suppressor, okay? How does it feel in hand, though?
Feels good. Doesn't feel front heavy at all. Like, I would think with a suppressor, like with rifles and everything like that, it would be a lot heavier front end.
Yeah, I mean, the titanium really helps. And a lot of people, you know, they don't understand how much that weight on the end of the barrel really affects it. Like, for example, that 14.5 we had out here the other day, that Saber, right?
It's heavy.
Like, with that CMMG on it, with that stainless steel can, it's heavy. I tested out with a few of my titanium cans.
Light.
It's a lot lighter. It makes a big difference. That little bit of weight will make a difference.
Brother.
Stapler gun, boy.
I swear to God.
Sounds like you're launching pebbles out that bitch.
Sounds like a gas blowback handgun.
Yeah, it sounds like a damn BB gun, bro.
I swear to God. That group surprised me. I'm like, it really helped.
If you guys have ever shot a gas blowback airsoft handgun, yeah.
That's what it sounds like. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Now, if we wouldn't have had the can on there.
I mean, we could test it if you want.
I don't mind.
Science.
That's good though.
Science. Guys, don't download a decibel reader app on your iPhone. It does not work.
Just go buy a decibel reader.
Yep, your phone is not going to be sufficient enough. Not bad.
A lot more felt recoil, for sure.
Yeah, I think it does reduce the recoil. I felt that too.
Yeah, like the first time, it doesn't feel like you have much recoil. It, as I said, it almost feels like a BB gun. With that, it's like,
yeah,
you can feel the more felt recoil in your hand.
Yeah, one flyer. I saw it. That's not a bad group though. I mean, but the suppressor definitely, I think, helps.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do a build drill with it, so let's try it out. The one thing I'll say about this Grizzly, the one thing I absolutely do not like is this extended slide release right here. I'm gonna replace it because every single time I go to shoot this thing, especially trying to shoot it quick and I grip up, like just barely, with my finger just barely touching it, it'll make the slide lock back. And I do not like that.
One review, I mean, you could see in there that it happens a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all A zones, not bad. Again, never really shot suppressed pistol or anything like that. I'm sure I can tighten it up a little bit, but with this Grizzly, I'm not very confident. I'm not very confident in this gun. So another thing I love about WhisperStrike, guys, is that they include all your tools in the box to be able to take down your suppressor, take it off the gun, whatever the case may be. So big shout out to WhisperStrike. I know a lot of suppressor companies don't send you tools, but you pretty much get your tools in the box to take off every single piece of the suppressor, take it apart and service it. So what we're gonna do now is, obviously we've tested it in the full length configuration. So now we're gonna cut it down to the shorter configuration and see how well it suppresses, like how big of a difference it is. So, okay, got that off. So there you go. I can't show you guys me actually taking it apart because YouTube is very weird about that kind of stuff. But there's your core, your titanium core, and that's your extension. You've got a more compact design. K-style suppressor.
Yeah, almost like a K-style suppressor. K-can. Just to be transparent with you guys, I'm having issues with my 9B tool. So I'm gonna probably contact WhisperStrike about this tool because the issue that I'm having is that this tool, I don't know if it's just slightly out of spec or whatnot, but it does seem like on both sides this tool does end up slipping. So I will be contacting WhisperStrike about that. These tools are laser cut, so it's probably very easy for these to be slightly out of spec. But with that being said, very easy problem to fix. You get a lifetime warranty on all WhisperStrike suppressors. So if you have any type of issues with it, all you gotta do is send it back in and they will fix it. So with that being said, I'll probably contact them about this wrench here because this open end just does not lock down on this the way it should, and it ends up slipping, and you don't want to round out those ends. All right, guys, so now we got her in the more compact configuration. So again, good thing about the suppressor is you can either run it in the longer configuration or take out that extension and run it in the shorter configuration. So let's see how well she suppresses these 147 grain Aguila flat point rounds. So Bear Creek.
Slide release.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. I mean, it is a little bit louder, but it's still very, very ear safe. So if you wanted to run the shorter configuration, you're not losing a lot, but there is some sound reduction there that you will get with the extension on it. But I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna kind of shoot around with it a little bit, just get a feel for it with the shorter configuration and see what we can hit. So look at that, see what I mean? I wasn't even gripping it hard and it locked open.
Same thing.
And look, if I grip low like that, which is completely unnatural for me, missed, but it didn't lock. That time it did lock, I wasn't even on it. So maybe it's just the gun.
Maybe.
It is getting gummed up from the suppressor. And I know it's not the suppressor causing it, guys, because we had this issue without the suppressor on it in the full review. Okay, not bad. All right, so we're gonna put this on the B&T GHM9 now, my PCC of choice. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to take off the end piece here, basically the Nielsen device, the booster, and replace it with this direct
thread cap. That way we can thread it on a PCC. So I'm gonna do that. Unfortunately, I can't show you because YouTube might freak the hell out. So yeah, we're gonna do that, put it on the gun, and then we'll be right back. So this is what your booster is going to look like. So essentially, again, what this does is there's a spring in here that allows it to move slightly, so that way your pistol won't malfunction with it sitting on the end of the barrel. It's much different than something like this, which is literally just a direct thread cap, which is going to thread right on there, and the suppressor will stay stationary on your PCC or anything like that. This is only used for pistols, so please do not put this on your PCC because it could cause a baffle strike or something like that. So that's the main difference between a pistol suppressor with a Nielsen device versus your direct thread suppressor. But this one can do both. You will just have to order the direct thread adapter, but it's not that expensive at all. So definitely, if you want to run this on your PCC, make sure you order that. All right, we got it on the BNT. Let's see how these 147 grains sound out of the PCC. Now, what I will say, just starting out, what I've noticed with every suppressor that I've tested on handguns versus PCCs is the PCCs are always a little bit louder because I'm guessing they have that longer barrel, so the bullet gets a little bit more velocity, so you get a little bit more crack. But we'll see if that stays true with the WhisperStrike Slim Knot.
Not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's definitely quiet. The other 9mm can that we've used on this gun is the CMMG 36K, which is a 9mm can, but that one is a stainless steel and it's more oriented towards rifles. I mean, I think the sound suppression on this one is just as good as that one, if not a little bit better. That's a K can, this is a full-size can.
That is true.
Definitely ear safe, for sure. And we would be using that decibel beater that we started using, but it's not accurate.
No.
So, all right, let's take off the extension and see how she sounds. A little bit louder, but still hearing safe.
Yeah, hearing safe.
Yeah, no buzzing in the ears. You would definitely not be dissatisfied with running this suppressor on your PCC if you're going for sound suppression. It's pretty quiet.
It is really quiet.
Yeah, and not a bad group on the target down there. I was aiming low, so it pretty much was hitting exactly where I zeroed it. So no complaints. But just so we're staying scientific, we will take the can off and run a few 147 grains through there with the can off, just so you guys can hear the difference. Definitely a lot louder. I think that's pretty impressive for a pistol can. You can run it on your carbine, you can run it on your handgun, and comparatively to what other 9mm cans we've shot, it's up there. I mean, it definitely has decent sound suppression and very, very comparable to, you know, a lot of the high-end names on the market. WhisperStrike is a newer company. They started up in the last 2 years, so a lot of people don't know about them, but they do make really quality products, guys. They're not some company that doesn't know what they're doing. It's obvious by their products, especially the rifle cans. I mean, their 30 cal can, I remember we shot that thing on the 308. I mean, that thing is very, very quiet for a 308. So
we were blown away with how quiet it was.
Yeah, we've been blown away by a lot of the WhisperStrike products, especially with their whole thing about preserving accuracy, minimal point of impact shift, and overall like enhancing accuracy, really like tightening your groups up, helping you tighten your groups up with that suppressor because of that asymmetrical baffle design. So with that being said, I'm going to throw the can back on here. We'll take a few more shots with her and then we'll close this one out. So one last thing I do want to mention real quick about the Slim 9 that is super unique is that these are fully serviceable. So not only can you take off the extension and take out that piece of the core, but it's fully modular. So you can actually remove the core in this piece as well, which makes them really, really easy to clean because you can basically take your core out, dip it in some solvent, leave it in there for a little bit, you know, rinse it with some water, dry it off, and your core will be completely clean, instead of something like your traditional like welded baffle design, where with that, you know, you'll have to stick the whole suppressor in there and hope that it gets in all those grooves and everything like that inside the suppressor. With this, you can directly clean each piece of the suppressor, which I think, in my opinion, is a big benefit if you want to get it real nice and squeaky clean. Okay, super quiet.
Yeah.
I left my AirPro on and I'm sitting here. It literally sounds like a BB gun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty quiet. With the full size, you're definitely going to get really good sound suppression on the PCC. Really, on a handgun, either or is pretty good, because with a handgun, you're getting less velocity, so you get less crack. But that's not bad at all. Definitely viable for running on a PCC. All right, guys, so just to close this one out, giving our overall thoughts on the WhisperStrike Slim 9, I think if you're looking for a pistol suppressor, something to throw in a pistol, it's really hard to beat this one coming out of the box, ready to go, ready to throw on a pistol. I believe these things are running around $850 or so on WhisperStrike's website, which is really good considering if you were to go with a standard, you know, 9mm size can, and then also having to buy a compatible Nielsen device, you know, you're probably going to be spending around that much anyway, and this one is titanium. So in my opinion, that is a big benefit, because you're getting a much lighter weight package and still maintaining, you know, really good durability. With me, I have some stainless steel suppressors, I have titanium suppressors, and every time I throw one of those big heavy stainless steel suppressors on my guns, you can definitely feel it, especially on a handgun, because again, the barrel's going to move, and the heavier the suppressor you have on there, the more it's going to throw off your zero and things like that. Now, we did see out here with the WhisperStrike can, even with a titanium can, a lighter weight can, that the zero did shift up just a little bit. So, you know, we were aiming, and when we took it off and, you know, shot it, it did shoot a little bit lower. So with that being said, handguns are always going to be more prone to that when you throw something on the end of the barrel, because handgun barrels move a lot more than rifle barrels and stuff like that, just because of the design. With that being said, there's still minimal point of impact shift with this thing. I mean, generally if you're shooting at a silhouette target, you're going to be right around the same area, and you can only imagine throwing a big heavy stainless steel suppressor on there with a Nielsen device on how much it will cause your shots to deviate. I think overall sound suppression was really good. I mean, with the pistol, it sounded like a gas blowback airsoft gun. That's literally what it sounded like. A lot of the sound sounded like it came from the action, probably also due to the fact that we're using like a Glock style platform to run this on, because they're kind of notorious for that. But it did a good job. It didn't loosen up or anything like that. It didn't come apart. Even with the modular design, we didn't see any issues with it coming loose or coming apart on the gun. It seemed like it stayed relatively tight on the gun, and the gun didn't have any malfunctions due to the suppressor. We were running the Bear Creek Grizzly out here, and I've been having issues with that gun just locking open, and I've had those issues before we ever stuck suppressor on there. I was really impressed also with the accuracy of this thing. When we put on the handgun, maybe it's placebo, but I was shooting better with this on the Grizzly than I was with it off. I think it definitely helped reduce recoil as well. I think you could agree with me, cameraman.
Yeah.
Overall, she held up. We didn't get any baffle strikes or anything like that, but we will continue to do testing on this can. I think this is a really good option if you're looking for something that you can, out of the box, run on a handgun, but also in a pinch, you can buy the direct thread adapter and you can run this on your PCC as well. I think what WhisperStrike is doing with a lot of their cans is very innovative, and you know, I think they're doing a really great job. Everything we have tested has worked very well. With that being said, there were a few cons that we did notice out here, so I will go over those. So again, as mentioned before, one of the tools that we have, it seems like it may be just slightly out of spec, because that open-ended tool, whenever I do put it around either end of the suppressor to try to hold it, it does seem like it's slipping off. Now again, WhisperStrike offers a lifetime warranty with these cans, so I will be reaching out to WhisperStrike to see if they can just send me another 9B tool, so that way I don't have that issue with it slipping.
slipping, because if it slips too much, it can round out these wrench flats here, and that's something that you definitely don't want to happen, because you know, you need to take your suppressor apart, especially with something like this modular one. The only other con that I could really be nitpicky about maybe a little bit is the Cerakote on this thing. So I mean, Cerakote overall looks really good. However, as you can see, just after one range trip here on the wrench flats, we are losing a little bit of that Cerakote, but honestly, that's to be expected. You know, we know about Cerakote, we know what it is, and taking a wrench on that thing and trying to get it off, you know, that's going to happen, especially with that open-ended wrench that slipped off. But we did actually end up accidentally scratching it as well, and we do have some scratch marks there on that. But that's not a really big deal to me, definitely not a deal breaker. I'm happy that they even Cerakote them, and I can, you know, pick what color that I want. But overall, for the money, I think this thing's definitely worth it. Definitely don't think you can go wrong, especially given that this thing is engineered and designed for a handgun. You're not gonna have to buy suppressor-height night sights. You're not gonna have to buy a booster. And you can also change the size depending on what type of setup that you want to go with. So without further ado, guys, that's it for today. Leave in the comments below what you guys think of the WhisperStrike Slim 9. Is this something that you would consider purchasing for your handgun? Let us know. If not, let us know as well why you would not purchase something like the Slim 9, and let's start a conversation. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because we need your help, because YouTube hates gun content and we need you guys to stay in the algorithm. So without further ado, guys, I appreciate everybody for watching, and I'm out. Peace.